Now, last but not least is one that I wasn't expecting to talk about, but one, it's a very slow news week, and two, this also surprised me with how different it was. So, for anybody that's been following the Rocky franchise or Sylvester Stallone for a while, for the past few years, actually, he's been saying that he's been working on a director's cut of Rocky 4. And I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I'll take that with a grain of salt, because as much as I love Sly, there's a lot of things that he talks about that they're working on, but then never actually happen. Like, it's a miracle we're actually finally starting to work on Expendables, because he's just been like, yeah, we're going to get another Expendables, and then nothing. Well, now here we are. But also, when he talked about Rocky 4 and what he would do with a director's cut of it, to me, at least from his comments, it didn't sound that drastic. He always talked about he wanted to take out Paulie's weird girlfriend robot, because that is kind of bizarre and doesn't have any bearing on the story whatsoever. But also, he wanted to make the boxing hits less noisy, because he always thought that they sounded too comically over the top in years since the movies come out. I thought those were going to be the only changes. Well, Sylvester Stallone released a full actual trailer for this director's cut, and just from the trailer alone, holy crap, did they put in a whole bunch of extra stuff. Now, Sylvester Stallone has said that they've dropped back in about 40 minutes of footage that they shot that wasn't in the original movie, and I'm going,
Wow.
what now? But noticing some stuff in the trailers, they put some stuff that's not in Rocky 4, and not from what they shot. There's a scene at the end of the trailer when he gets knocked down by Drago, and you get the old adage from Mickey, "Get up, you son of a..." And that's actually from Rocky 5, so whether he's pulling from different Rocky movies, there's just certain scenes that they get fleshed out more of, like, why Apollo wants to fight Drago, so to speak. There's more scenes with that. There's the boxing committee basically saying, he's had one professional fight and one man is dead. Like, that's interesting dynamic there. This has the potential to be a completely different movie. That being said, I don't want it to be too different, because I love Rocky 4 so much. And people were like, it's cheesy and over the top. It's the 80s. What do you expect? I don't care that a third of the movie is montage. Maybe that's something that's going to get tweaked here and go less montage heavy. But I was actually very surprised by this trailer. One, because it's just nice to have Rocky again. But two, just from the trailer alone, how much stuff I had not seen before. And this is coming from someone who has seen all the Rocky movies repeatedly, going, that's new. That's new. Hadn't seen that. And it seems like color corrected, done everything. This seems to be a very different movie. As a fellow Rocky fan, Josh, do you want a director's cut of Rocky 4?
It's not something I thought I wanted, but sure, I guess. I think I'm trying to make sure I phrase this in a good way, but I think if anything, Sly has learned a lot about his directorial and writing direction that he likes more now. And Rocky 4 could be very well just be one of those projects that he's really, really proud of, but which wishes that he could go back, and now that he is who he is, change some things. And honestly, there's a large part of me that's here for it. I mean, just like imagine Rocky 4 with the pacing of Creed 1 and 2. Like, absolutely.
And that seems what this is. It seems much more like they're taking their time with scenes.
Yeah, taking your times, making the emotions hit harder. Again, it's a drama that boxing happens to be in, and which is, I think, very prevalent of Rocky 6 and both the Creeds. And I think I really don't mind him going back and doing this, as long as it doesn't really like ruin some of the chronology, so to speak, considering they've basically done Rocky 2 based off of the events of this movie. So it'd be a little weird if they omitted some stuff. And
no, I think the general story will still be there. Just certain things will be more fleshed out, and other things will be dropped. Like, there won't be any robot, but there'll be more drama of feeling the guilt for basically, hey, I let my friend die type of thing. The other
Hmm.
thing important to note is a lot of times with these director's cuts or extended cuts, there's different music. Like Return of the all the
Hmm.
Lord of the Rings extended editions have different soundtracks than the theatrical versions. And in the trailer for this, they play an amazing orchestral version of Eye of the Tiger that I kind of really, really hope is in this movie because it was so well done. It took me a little bit to go, oh wait, is that what I think it is? Yeah, that's really good. So I'll be curious if the music changes because it always kind of bothered me as much as I like Rocky 4 that they never use Rocky's theme in Rocky 4. They never use the
That,
dun
yeah,
dun
that
dun dun
is
dun
weird.
dun dun dun. They kind of go really really hard on the John Cafferty music with the Hearts on Fire and everything else. I'm like, this is fine, but I want to hear the classic Rocky music. Maybe when he's like scaling the actual side of a mountain. But this sounds interesting. Now, for right now, it's going to be a one night only thing in theaters, and it'll be coming to digital, and then there will be a physical copy of this later this year. I'm trying to remember if they said it will be a 4K release or not, but if they're putting in all this effort, I would assume that it is. If you had to, is there any other movies that you know out there that have enough supplemental material that you would want a director's cut for?
Like in general, like from or just from Sly.
Just in general.
In general,
The
I mean,
Suicide Squad.
no. Keep the Ayer cut. Well, no,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm good.
Sorry, guys. I don't think the Ayer
I
cut is going
don't,
to be as different as you think.
I don't want to revisit that world. I don't want to. I would love Vel Diablo to be back. Like he's a cool character, but like, um, hmm. Trying to think, man. There's a lot of movies that I would love to maybe if they redid or, yeah, I don't know. There's quite a few. Um, what would be really interesting is if the only one I don't know why this is coming to mind is if they redid Expendables 1 and it like actually hit hard emotionally, but it's an Expendables movie, so.
It'll never happen just because I don't think the footage exists anymore, or if it ever did. But supposedly the original director's vision for The Crow 2 was actually really good and really
Ooh.
interesting.
I remember us talking about that. Yeah,
About City of Angels, yeah, that actually the original
yeah,
premise of that sounded much closer to an actual Crow story, while not repeating the Eric Draven narrative.
which would be super cool because if there's any complaint I have about the Crow is that the sequels literally feel just
Bad.
like a hollow version of what the original is. So, which is really tough, and because it's not necessarily that the characters themselves are bad, but the movies are just not good.